This is Jim Nailon, liturgical guitarist. I'm going to share my arrangement of the hymn, Great is Thy Faithfulness, music by William Runyon. I'll play through it first and then I'll go back through and talk about it. And okay. Back through it again, and the final ending would be okay, this was our priest's favorite hymn, and I had to relearn it for him. I knew it years ago, and then I realized it lays nice on the guitar in the key of G, so we're putting this arrangement up. Let's go ahead at the beginning. Now, in this arrangement, you have to be able to play G both ways with your third finger on the bass and with your second finger on the bass. Sometimes you have to change between chords there, like between measure 10 and 11. So here we go. Starting on a G chord, third finger in the bass. Beautiful C7, major 7th result to a 6th, and then now on that D, I mark it a D7 sus4. I'm droning this fourth, the open G string, and bringing the bass run up. And then to resolve it on the G sus, and a G. I don't mark that as a G sus, I just call that measure a G. Measure 5, C. And you can, on that F sharp, you can do it with your first finger or your second finger. For me, it depends on how bad my arthritis is, which finger I use. The G over B, so you're bringing a bass run down to the A. Now let's look at that A on measure 7 there. I fingered it for those people that play an A this way with the like an A7 with your first finger drop down on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. I know there's a lot of ways to play an A, and usually I don't even finger them. I don't play them either one of the standard ways. This is the beginning way with the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So I fingered it that way. Because it's nice, you can just slide from that C sharp, you can slide your 3rd finger up to the D. I play it, I've said this many times, I play my A with 2 fingers. I kind of play the 4th and 3rd strings with my first finger and the second string with my second finger. So moving on, measure 9, third line, just up that D. And then you're going to play the G now with the second. You leave your third finger down, put your little finger down on the third fret of the first string, and your second finger is going to come over and grab that bass note on the third fret of the sixth string. Bring the melody down with your first finger, and then change to the other G with your third finger. And then the C major 7th. Then the A. Or if you're doing it the way I fingered it here. And it has your little, either way you want your little finger right there on that G, and then you just go right to the regular G with the third finger in the bass. Move the little finger over to the second string, and then play this version of a D sixth, I guess it is here. That's probably the hardest thing in the whole piece is playing that chord. But I use that chord in my Morning is Broken, so I'm familiar with that fingering. Page 2, measure 17 at the top. Now I fingered it with a regular D fingering. And you can do, I mean, that's not hard. If you want to get a perfect legato between the D and the G there, use your little finger on the instead of your third finger, and your second finger instead of your first finger. So you'd have a fourth finger down on the D and a second finger on the A. So, and then you just simply lay. It's a lot easier to get to that G. You don't have to lift things up. Here you have to. So that would be a suggestion. I didn't finger it that way, but you certainly could, and I probably will play it that way just to get a better legato. Moving on to the E chord, then to the A7 or A minor with a sus. Little finger down on the third fret of the second string, and then lift it off. So during that first line there, if you think of this in terms of dynamics, it's building, because you're repeating the line, great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. So you want to let that build a little bit. And then it kind of softens. No more thirds here. Let's see. Yeah, I had this with a second finger in the bass. Now here's a little trick here in that last measure, measure 24 of that second line on the D. Notice the fingering on the note D, the third fret of the second string, starts out with a standard D chord fingering with the open first string. And then the second time you're going to play that same D note, but now you're going to switch to your second finger. So the second finger comes in there. Am I getting that in there? There you go. And then that sets you up for measure 25, these sixths. And then third finger in the bass, and then so that line, that third line there, has got some of the nicest stuff in it. And give a little vibrato on that. Maybe a little slide or glissando. And then the last line, build on, gets more intense. Second finger on the bass. And the little finger has to move from the G to the B here on the third string, so it's going to move over to the third string, fourth fret, and then thirds here in the D, and then take the first ending and you go right back to the top. So let's see, what was I going to say? Oh. My favorite part in this song is the C major seventh, which seems like a more modern chord from the time that this was written back in about 1923, I think. It gives it a real modern feel and a real depth of emotion to me. Every time I hit that C major seventh, right from the second measure, and it resolves to the sixth, the seventh to the sixth. So anyway, that's my favorite part of this. I really have fallen in love with this hymn. Another thing, if you want to, I didn't write it as with any variations, but if you want to maybe simplify the first verse and then add some of those little niceties like I do in measure 3 and then that third line of the second page, add those the second verse, you could do that. So you could just play like from the top, this is the same, and then you could just keep it simple on a D7 chord. And then let's say when you get to measure 25, so let's lead into that. So into the second line of the second page. Just bring it right up, which is the same thing as measure 21. Measure right above it. And back to the stay on the G. You do. So actually, measure 26 and 27, I'm playing them just like I do on the first page in the same place, measure 10 and 11. So you could play them that way, and then the second time through, add the nice stuff. There's nothing real hard in this piece. If you get that measure 15 down, and just I made little marks on my page here. I don't know if you can see them, but I have in pencil. I have like a 2 and a 3 to let me know which finger to go on the bass, because it's hard for me to read the little numbers. So if I put that up there ahead, it reminds me that I got to change the fingering on the G chord. That's about all there is to this one. So I pray God blesses your guitar playing. Look for more arrangements on liturgicalguitarist.com, and I wish you peace.